Welcome to the Never Yield podcast. The Arkansas Razorbacks beat Alabama A&M 52-7, and Andrew, the Hogs are 1-0, and they currently have a better record than the Texas Longhorns and the Alabama Crimson Tide. How was your
Yes,
weekend,
they
brother?
do. Yes, they do. Man, crazy weekend. Um, yeah, that was those were two outcomes I was not expecting. For the way Texas looked and definitely the way Alabama looked. But yeah, crazy weekend. Just glad football's back. Had a great time watching some games. Obviously going to the Razorback game. It was a great weekend. Actually, I want to start it off the show today. It is our host's birthday today, so happy birthday, Kelby Drennan. Welcome
Approaching
to
the big 4-0, getting closer to the big 4-0, my man.
yes, welcome officially to the upper 30s,
That's right.
where even before golf you have to stretch now. So
That's right. That's right. Appreciate it, brother. So you were at the game Saturday.
mhm.
Kind of give us some insight, just kind of the atmosphere inside the stadium. How was the crowd? Just any thoughts from having boots on the ground Saturday?
Yeah, I'll say first of all, it was the easiest traffic situation getting to the stadium, getting into the stadium. That's been an issue the last, I feel like 3 years, ever since they started the self-scanning tickets. I mean, there's been several games where I've waited like 45 minutes, been at the gate trying to get in the gate. Um, but I mean, Saturday, I don't know if they fixed traffic patterns or if they fixed, ticket entry, or maybe I was just earlier than usual. I don't know. I got there about 30 minutes before kickoff, and yeah, I've never had an easier time getting I mean, drove right to the stadium,
Nice.
never stopped, and walked right in the stadium. So I don't know if they've changed things, if it's gotten better, if I was early. Um, it was um, it was definitely not like super full when I got there, but then it filled up closer to kickoff. So maybe I was just a little early. I don't know. Um, but obviously not a huge opponent for the season opener. So people probably not as excited to be there all day tailgating and that kind of thing. But even though the weather was fantastic, so
Oh yeah, it looked nice. It looked
um,
nice.
but yeah, it was. I was pretty happy with the turnout. You had some empties up in the corners of the upper deck, but as far as the lower bowl, pretty full.
Yeah. So I wish I was there. We took a little weekend getaway up to the pitiful state of Missouri. We went to Lake of the Ozarks for the weekend, so we caught the game up
Nice.
there and got to Saturday. We just watched football all day. It was really awesome. Think about the game, man. Boy, I predicted 54-14, I think, or 52-14. Ended up being 52-7, so I was pretty close there. Um, just surface level thoughts about the game before we get into a deep dive. I thought Taylor looked great. I was really pleased with Taylor. He was just playing catch out there. Everything we talk about is going to be opponent based, so we have to remember who we were playing. But
Yeah.
I thought he was just playing pitch and catch, made some nice throws, obviously 6 touchdowns, which I think tied the school record, I believe, with Brandon Allen.
Okay.
Um, and so I was really thought Taylor looked good. That first defensive drive, oh, I was not
Rough.
not not feeling good about the defense. Everything I talked about the defensive line and the secondary last episode was coming to fruition way earlier than I thought it would that first
Hmm.
drive. But they shored some things up, and so we'll get into that later. But it went about business as usual, taking care of business. I was really happy with the way the defense responded after those first couple drives and kind of started to impose their will. Um, any initial thoughts from seeing it in person?
Yeah, like I said, it kind of felt. I don't know. We had a pretty good crowd for the opponent that we had. Obviously, first game of the season, people are excited, but I felt like it took people a while to kind of like get back into it of like hog calls, like getting loud, that kind of thing. Like it was almost,
A little
it's always
sleepy.
kind of weird, like when you haven't had it for so long and then you're back, thrown right back into it. So, uh, but no, it was a pretty good environment as far as the crowd goes. Um, yeah, Talon made some throws on Saturday that last year he didn't make. There's several of those throws that he would have missed. So I was happy to see that. Took some sacks and some hits that he shouldn't have. Hoping that's just first game jitters, and hopefully we'll improve from there. I was really happy with the receiving core. Glad that we spread the ball around. But yeah, that first defensive drive, it was not
Mm,
pretty.
mm.
Was he 4 for 4, 5 for 5 passing?
Just
Drove right down the
gashing
field.
us.
Just
Yeah.
no pressure on the quarterback, no push on the line. I was like, we may be in for a long day. But I will say that for a FCS school, they had some bodies on the team. They had some offensive linemen that were every bit as big as SEC guys. They were, I mean,
Sam said that in his press conference. He said they were big. Like, it kinda
yeah,
caught him off guard too, I think, with how big they were. That doesn't always mean they're good, but,
right,
they pass the eye test in terms of their size, and so
yeah,
something UAPB did not do last year, and that's who we
right,
kept comparing them to, because they're in the same conference. And
yeah,
so, but yeah, so we'll dive into the report card here in a little bit. We'll pull it up and we'll go through every position. I want to touch just kind of on the SEC and national level. There's some great games this weekend. Texas laid an egg, which is never a bad thing to see Texas lose. But God, Bama laid an egg. LSU looked great going into Clemson and beating them, and then Notre Dame got beat in Miami. We were obviously interested in that one. Uh, Man, that Texas Ohio State game, boy, that was a defensive battle. Arch looked lost.
yeah,
Arch looked, and I think Arch is going to be fine. But man, like, he missed some throws. You could tell Sark was kind of had the reins on him a little bit. He didn't really unleash much on him.
mm,
He looked, his didn't really use his legs like he was used to, and I was just shocked because he was the betting favorite to win the Heisman coming into the weekend, and we
yeah,
thought that was a little premature because he has only had one or two starts, but both of those quarterbacks, the Ohio State quarterback also, but the difference was the Ohio State quarterback was he was making the easy throws, not trying to fit it in too tight of spots. But Arch, he missed some easy ones, and then
hmm
he threw some bad interceptions at costly time, and it's crazy to think that this may be a little homer, but I think Taylor Green is a better quarterback than Arch today. He may not be in 3 weeks, but I bet Taylor Green could have had a little more production than what Arch threw out at Ohio State. And I know how they're loaded with 5 stars. Ohio State
hmm
is on defense, but I was shocked by that. That
yeah,
was my biggest takeaway from the weekend was even more than LSU going into Clemson was how bad Arch looked.
yeah. Yeah, he was struggling. He just looked uncomfortable out there. Which obviously it's your first big start. It's your first big start on the road, and so there's no telling what kind of emotions are there. Plus, it's at noon, so getting up for noon games has got to be just tough. But I mean, if you're an ultimate competitor and you're playing
Going into Ohio State too. I
right,
mean,
defending
Lord,
national champion,
yeah,
you got to get it done. And so,
yeah.
yeah, he some of his throws were just looked short. It looked like he was trying like some sidearm things, which
A
looked just
lot, yeah. His
uncomfortable. And
mechanics look terrible at times.
yeah,
Terrible.
so there was a lot of like Uncle Rico memes going around
Uh-huh.
social media about like using the same drills. But yeah, I mean that game, I think a lot of people had kind of as a toss up. Uh, it was going to be pretty evenly matched on both sides, but I think the biggest surprise to me was Alabama and the way they looked at Florida State. That man, Kalen DeBoer's off to
Non-competitive. I
a
mean,
rough
non-competitive.
start in
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah, those people are not happy. I can't wait to hear Fine Bombs, some of those callers calling into the Fine Bomb show. Dude, I don't know, and, I mean, we'll get to it later, when we get the hot seats, but I'm telling you right now, Kalen DeBoer, and I think he's a good football coach. He proved that at Washington, but Alabama is a different animal than Washington, and you can't just be a good
Oh yeah,
X's and O's coach. and go into Bama and win. So that's going to eat you up, and I think it's eating him up.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
they're,
I
they're
saw.
not going to stand for back to back 8-4 seasons in
No,
Tuscaloosa, and so
no,
he better get it figured out quick.
yeah, I saw somebody say that he should be sending checks every week to Michael Penix about making his career for him because
Hmm.
yeah, he's lost 4 games to unranked opponents
Yep.
in 14 games. Nick Saban
Yep.
lost 4 to unranked opponents in his entire tenure at Alabama.
Yeah. It's like
So
280 games or something.
yeah, so yeah, they are not
Well,
enthused.
I I
Obviously
saw like
Florida State.
4 clips of their defense just loafing out there,
Yeah,
like, just jogging around to the ball, like, they're not playing hard,
hmm
um, and it's just I don't know. I got some takes on that situation in Alabama later in the show that
okay,
may be a little hot.
yeah,
So,
all right,
yeah, and the last one I wanna talk about, is LSU and Clemson. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier,
great year.
it started slow, Clemson jumped out early, and these defenses are just so good, right? Like Texas's defense was really good, LSU's was really good, um, and they're just defensive games. But Nussmeier made the drives in the second half. Klubnik couldn't, but a lot of that was because, dude, LSU's defense was just all over him. He had no time to throw. He was being pushed off his spot right off the bat. So they proved me wrong. Props for Brian Kelly and LSU for going into the Clemson version of Death Valley at night and pulling out a big dub.
Yeah, I think somebody might have predicted that last week, but
Yeah,
no.
I
I'm big on
may
the
have went 0-5. I may have went 0-5 in our picks. So
really. Okay, I think
maybe 1-4, 1-4 at best.
okay. I think Alabama was my one loss there.
Yeah,
So
we'll pull that
um,
up Friday. We'll go over that.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, no, that was just a great game back and forth. LSU pulled it out. Brian Kelly, I think, was 0-3 at LSU in
Hmm.
opening night games before that. So um, you know, I don't, I can't stand Brian Kelly, but I, you know, if you're one of the people that root for the SEC, in those non-conference games, then you can be happy about it. I tend to root for who's on our schedule, but just because I want to play them at their best, so that way, if we win, it's a great win. If we lose, it doesn't look as bad as if
Hmm.
they're coming in with some losses. And I think off the top of my head, I want to say everybody on the schedule won except for Notre Dame this weekend.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think so.
yeah, so it
So
was undefeated.
we're going to get talking about our hot seats. I got a handful of them. I'll go first on our hot seats. Since we're already talking about it, my first hot seat's Kalen DeBoer. He, dude, I think he's in over his head. I don't think he gets through the year. I think,
Oh
it's
wow.
one thing for a fluke loss, but dude, they just got outplayed the whole game. Gus Malzahn, let's just be real, like Gus Malzahn, who's an OC at Florida State now, he's like 500 against Alabama as an offensive
Hmm.
coordinator and head
Yeah,
coach. Like he technically that owns Alabama. Like anybody who's 500 against Alabama, like
yeah,
you own them because everybody else. I mean, we haven't
right.
beat Alabama since Houston Nutt was here. Uh, but man, I mean, like you said, he's lost to 4 unranked teams in 14 games, and Nick Saban lost to 4 in 230. Now, is he Nick Saban? No, I'm not saying that,
Right.
but there's a standard at Alabama that's set, and I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to do it. I just don't. It's a monster. That job's a monster, and
Hmm.
and I think he's just getting swallowed up by it.
Yeah.
Uh, but let me ask you this: is Alabama really like? Is it as good of a job as what everybody thinks? Because if you look at the 3 coaches before Nick Saban, okay, Mike Dubose, Dennis Franchione, and Mike Shula, they were
Hmm.
combined 51 and 53.
Hmm.
51 and 53 combined. So that was like what? There's like 8 years of coaching, 7, 8 years, 10 years there
Yeah.
where they were under 500. Now I know they had obviously Bear Bryant, who was unbelievable, and then
Right.
Gene Stallings won a national championship. But,
Mhm.
like, for 10 years before Saban got there, they were not very good.
Right.
Saban comes in, obviously, he does what he does, and the second he leaves, he hands him this program on a silver platter,
Mhm.
and it's taken no time for it to go to hell,
Yeah.
none. And so I don't know. I mean, obviously Alabama's a good job, but I don't know if it's a job that everybody thinks it is because 4 of the last 5 coaches there have not been great. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think the Saban effect is even bigger and more real and more important than what we even thought it was beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've I think it's a great job. Obviously, you're in a recruiting hotbed. You're pretty close to, I think Alabama has some pretty good in-state talent.
Oh
Tennessee's
yeah.
sitting
Oh
right on
yeah.
top of you. Atlanta's not too far away. Obviously, with all the winning that Saban did, he created a culture that's obviously didn't take too long to tear down. But uh, yeah, I think facilities. There's few better than Alabama. There's uh, now people can talk about their uniforms and how classic they look all they want. I can't. I don't get that. I don't like them.
No
I would
tradition.
not want them to be my teams.
You're not an
Uh,
old head.
yeah, but I mean, obviously the job is what you make it, and the person who's in the chair is going to do how they see fit, and whether it works or not, it doesn't. I mean, that's why you see coaches go places all the time where they've been successful previously, and then at another place it doesn't work. And so I've always been more of the fact of like the fit needs to be right, even if it's the hottest name in coaching. If it's not the right fit, it just doesn't work out. And sometimes it feels like the most perfect fit that could be. What Scott Frost going to Nebraska as a hometown kid,
Yeah.
won a national
Yep.
championship in Nebraska, and then just couldn't get it done at Nebraska. So I mean, there's things all the time. Bielema at Wisconsin. You can argue that a lot of the Big Ten was down during his regime at Wisconsin, but the kind of the ground and pound and 3 yards in a cloud of dust thing you thought would have worked great at Arkansas, and you know it was okay. He didn't break the
Yeah.
doors off, and we weren't going to
Yeah.
BCS bowls or anything or playoffs
No.
when he was here. So yeah, I
No,
think it's
fit's
all about
important.
the
Fit's
more than the
huge.
job itself.
Well, yeah, and I mean, let's just remember, they didn't lose at Clemson. They didn't lose to Ohio State. They went to a team that went 2-10 last year,
Mhm.
and they got beat on the road against a team that was 2-10 last year and completely revamped their roster in the portal and got beat by a, 3rd, 4th place team in the ACC.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, it's just crazy. So Kalen DeBoer, man, I don't he's literally on the hot seat as a coach, but I'm putting him on the hot seat just as a
yeah.
disaster. I'm calling it right
I'm
now. It's a disaster.
Oh yeah, 55 yards they said on the opening drive rushing, 32 yards the rest of the game.
Yeah, yeah. It's just not
That's
Alabama. It's
nuts.
not I don't
And
care who's the coach there. That's not Alabama football.
right, and there was like some preseason offseason rumors that Saban might have the itch to get back into coaching, and so a lot of Arkansas people were like, well, if we have an opening, like the money could show up, and if there was even just a chance that he would want to, and now it's like, well, he's just gonna go back to Alabama
Yeah.
if this doesn't work
That's
out. It's like I'm gonna have to go fix what I built. Uh,
yeah. That'll be his next job. If he takes a job, that'll be the next job.
yeah, I said
So,
if Alabama didn't work out with DeBoer, obviously he'd go there, or if LSU was open, I still think he has a place in his heart for LSU too. But
mhm.
yeah, I mean, guy can dream. Guy can
Yep,
dream.
that's right. That's right. Who's your first hot seat?
All right, my first hot seat is the game day experience
Oh,
at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Well, it's not Reynolds Razorback Stadium anymore, is it? We'll just call it Razorback Stadium. I think the naming rights are up for grabs. But
you're telling me
um,
it didn't get any better? You're telling me they had all off season, it didn't get any better?
man, let me tell you this: were you at the game last year where they had the frisbee dog,
Oh, yeah.
where the guy was like throwing the frisbee to the dog or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, they took that concept because the guy was throwing like 50 yards. The ball
Oh,
would go,
I think further than that.
yeah,
It was almost 60,
humming them,
70-yard bombs. Yeah.
dude. All right, they brought frisbee dog back. It was a
Yeah.
different frisbee dog, and the trainer, God bless her, this lady's about 3 bills. Could not throw a frisbee more than 15 yards, and the dog. I mean, her completion percentage was less than 50%.
Mm,
I'm like,
mm.
what are we doing out here? Uh,
Was it on it was on the quarterback, though? It was on the QB, not on the dog?
Dude, half the tricks was just her doing the little frisbee like around her body, and I mean, like I said, she's about 3 bills, so it's taking a minute to get
Really
around
having to reach, really having to
around the
reach.
body. But
Yeah.
man, like she was throwing it like hash to hash, like laterally. Uh, and this lady couldn't. And God bless her, she looked super nice, but they brought her out like 4 times, and they like at during commercial breaks they kept bringing her back. The people on the sideline, they got people with like headsets and clipboards. They're like
Mhm.
trying to get her and the dog off the field, and like she's like still trying to go, and they're looking up at the DJ, like cut the music and like trying to get them off the field. She's having a hard time even picking up the frisbees, first of all, but then getting off the field in time before the game starts. I'm like, this lady's about to get ran over. Yeah. I mean, not only that, it's there's got to be a job position called like game day experience coordinator or something.
Mhm. Oh, 100% there is.
I want to figure out how to apply for that. I really think I could do a better job than what we're doing. Uh, the two people that do the little mic intros
Mhm,
at the game, I think his name's
mhm.
John, the gray hair
John, he's
guy
been
with
doing it for a
the
long time.
hair,
Yep,
and then the
yep,
girl with like the braids. Half the time
yep.
the mics don't even work. Other times they're just not like inspiring to the it just feels forced, and
Yeah,
and then we just haven't found like our song to run out to, traditions to kind of uphold. Although I will say the last like 3 or 4 home games that I've been to, haven't heard Hey Jude by the band, which I've been a lot of people have been clamoring for years, but I've been one of those too. I'm
mhm,
like,
mhm.
it's not an upbeat song. It's not like a
Yeah,
song that makes you be like, and they always play like in the fourth quarter. It's not like, hey, we're down
yep.
10 to Alabama. Let's
Play
play
Hey
some Hey
Jude.
Jude by the
Yeah,
band.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
haven't heard that the last like 3 or 4 games I've been
Okay,
to, so maybe they
okay.
cut that one out. But
Well, I've
last
been
year the
saying for
game,
years, like, we're the only school that doesn't, like, turn the lights off now, like,
hmm,
in a night game, like, at the,
yes,
end of a quarter,
yeah,
have, like, red strobe lights going, like,
yes,
everybody does it. Ole Miss does it. I was just watching North Carolina and TCU. They
yes,
did it in North Carolina.
yes,
Like,
exactly.
we don't turn the lights off, and it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm sure you've seen like some of the videos of some of the other stadiums, like Tennessee, like they'll turn the
Oh,
lights off and
so
they do like
cool.
the slow kind of like creepy like Rocky Top song, and then it like goes
Mhm.
into like
They
the
got the
lights,
orange, like,
fireworks
the
and stuff.
orange
Dude, the
ribbon.
fireworks for the national anthem were weak sauce. And then
Yeah.
last year I went to a game. Sorry, I'm getting hot on this
Let's
hot
go.
seat.
Hot seat.
Yeah. They last year I don't know if you were at this game or if you remember this, but it was the John guy, whatever his name is. I think he has a local radio show, but
Mhm.
he does the mic stuff. And there was a game last year where they were like, "All right, everybody, we're gonna do something really cool. Everybody, turn your
Oh,
flashlight on.
yeah, I remember
Go through
this.
the app or whatever, and turn your flashlight on and point it at the sky." So everybody does it. We're all waiting, and they're like, "All right, that was awesome." And it was like that was it. They
Yeah,
didn't
I
turn off the
remember that.
lights. They didn't.
I
It's just
remember that.
everybody put on your flashlight and hold it up. I was like, "What are we doing?" And then
Mhm. I remember
I think
that,
it was like
yeah.
I think it was like the second quarter on Saturday. Something happened on the screen on the north end zone where it was just like black and blue for like almost the majority of the second quarter and halftime. And I was like, you couldn't even see the thing. So I'm like, there's
Mm,
got to be I'm like, give me a year to just go travel some of these other stadiums and then learn how to make things cool but unique to Arkansas. I was like, dude, Chris
mhm.
Stapleton wrote an awesome song called Arkansas a couple years ago. We rarely use that. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. Like, bring the Hog Wild, Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody knows that bring like that back. I don't know. There's things that could be done. That's my first hot seat. I'm hot
yeah. It's
about it.
awful.
I
It's
just
awful. I
it could
was
be
hoping to
way
get better.
yeah. It's got to get
No,
better.
it's a never ending problem, and
Yeah.
it's just embarrassing because I went to Ole Miss game a couple years ago,
Hmm.
and the Ole Miss, it's an awful stadium. It's awful.
Hmm.
It's trashy. It's very similar to War Memorial,
Right.
and dude, they turn the lights off, and they got the strobes going, and I mean, it's just there's just if Ole Miss can do it, geez, I mean, we can do it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're way behind the game day atmosphere for sure. So I'll kind of piggyback off that a little bit. So this is like a preliminary hot seat.
Okay.
My second hot seat is War Memorial Stadium. Like
Hmm.
War Memorial, hey, you're up. And I have been to every War Memorial game for like the last 5 years, and every year it's a disaster.
Hmm.
And let me say this: I grew up only going to Little Rock games,
Same.
and so did you.
Yep.
And we would travel up there in high school. We couldn't wait for the one Little Rock game,
Yep.
and we just wanted to go watch the
I think
Hogs in
we had
Little Rock
two back then.
because yeah, yeah, sometimes we had 2. And so this is coming from Central Arkansas guys who grew
Yep.
up going to War Memorial games. And last year it was they ran out of water. Like in the second
Like,
quarter
yeah.
or 2
Early.
years ago. Yeah,
Yep.
they ran out of water. Like, how's a concession stand run out of water of 55,000 people?
Hmm.
Last year, it was the ticket scanners weren't working. So we just walked, they were just laying people in. Like, we didn't have to scan our ticket, not one time. They were just, everybody's,
Wow.
Ole, come on in. We can't figure it out. Y'all just come on. So it's always, the water didn't work at the press box last year.
Hmm.
So, they were sweating in the press box. That's where the coaching boxes are too. The
Hmm.
toilets weren't working up there. The
Yep.
microphone never works for the referees. The play clocks, every year the play clocks mess up and they freeze and don't work. Like
Hmm.
every year it's something. And so this is the last year that we have a contract for Little Rock games.
Yep.
And coming from a guy who loves Little Rock games, man, I was at the Miracle on Markham.
Yep.
I was
Same.
at the South Carolina game when Carlos Hall blocked a field goal.
Same.
I mean, I was at the Tennessee game when Peyton Manning was there. Like, I mean, I've been at a ton of great games in Little Rock
Yeah.
that I wouldn't trade for anything.
Hmm.
And it's just come to a point now they're not holding up their end of the bargain. And
Yeah.
so it's already a smaller stadium. We already have recruiting disadvantages when we go down there.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's just if you want to keep games down there, you got to do your part
Yeah.
to make sure it's up and running. So Little Rock, you're on notice, big dog, and if you don't get it right this time, you have a true loyal Central Arkansas guy who may jump off the bandwagon finally.
Oh yeah.
And so,
No.
so let's get it right. War
Yeah.
Memorial one time.
Yeah. I feel the exact same way. I've argued with a lot of my friends that are still down there that think that we need to keep the Little Rock game. Uh, I mean, maybe a part of my reasoning is that I do live in Northwest Arkansas,
Yeah,
but I mean, it just one, it hasn't been the same since Houston's been gone, and I'll just say, second episode in, I'm the biggest Houston nut apologist that you'll find. I think we haven't in my lifetime we haven't had a coach that cared about this program, the state, and definitely the Little Rock game more than him. And so,
hmm
he just made it like a special thing. He motivated the team to want to go down there. And I feel like every coach since has made it a point to be like, we don't care to go down there. We don't want to go down there. And I
yeah,
understand from the perspective of, you can't host recruits. You can't I think you can host. I just think you can't talk to them or meet with
yeah.
them.
You can't talk to them. You can get
Yeah.
them tickets, but you can't talk to them.
Yeah. And so
Well, and obviously, like they don't get to see your locker room. Like if they go to the Little Rock
right.
game, they don't get to like see the stadium that they'll play in, their locker room, their practice fields, or meet their teacher, whatever
Yeah.
educational people. Like, so it's definitely a big disadvantage for
Yeah.
recruits.
And I feel like just Little Rock as a whole, Central Arkansas as a whole, hasn't held up their end of the bargain either, regardless of the stadium. Uh, they just hadn't been selling out the game. And I'm like, if
Yeah,
you're going to go down there and you're only going
yeah,
to play in front of 35,000 people, then what? That's definitely not worth it going down there.
yeah.
And I know the big argument is we haven't had quality opponents come to Little Rock in a long time after they took out the SEC games and all that stuff. But I'm like, the last game I went to in Little Rock, or last SEC game I went to in Little Rock was against Georgia when they had Nick Chubb,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there was
It
still
wasn't
not
full. I was there. Yeah, it wasn't
both
full.
both
Yeah.
end zones had thousands of empty seats, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and Arkansas wasn't bad then, so
Mhm.
I'm just like, if you can't sell it out, and do we know the numbers for Arkansas State? Did it sell? I know as of like 3 or
It's
4
sold
weeks,
out. Yeah,
it just
it's
sold out.
sold out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, if you can't sell
Your
it that,
boy
then
your
cool.
boy will be there. Your
Yeah.
boy will be there. I'm making
Okay.
the trip down. I'll
Okay.
be on the ground. So,
Okay.
for
I am
multiple reasons, but
okay. Yeah, I am not making the trip, so you'll be our eyes and ears on the ground down
that's
there
right.
without water and public sewage and
I shouldn't have bought a ticket because I guarantee you they would just let me in without a ticket because that's what they did last time.
yeah.
All right, your hot seat.
Okay. My second one is just watching college football this weekend. I was like, why do we have singular mascots? Uh uh what am I trying to say? Like Stanford, the Cardinal, and
Mhm,
Syracuse, the Orange. Are those
mhm.
colors? Are those, and I didn't do a deep dive into the history. I'm sure there's
It's
some,
a tree.
right. I'm like,
I'm just
Stanford Cardinal, your mascot's a tree. I was like, is there a cardinal in the tree somewhere? Is there a cardinal up in the, like if you go through the leaves, is there a cardinal
yeah.
in there? Is it the color cardinal? Syracuse is the orange. Is it the color orange? Their mascot is an orange. But let me tell you,
Mhm.
the first or the last place that I'm gonna think to look for fresh produce is Syracuse, New York. So like, I don't know. I'm just watching college football. These are things that come to my mind. I'm like, who named a school the Orange? And who named a school the Cardinal without being
But why
like,
not just put an S on the end, like St.
exactly.
Louis?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
just one Cardinal,
Hey,
or it's just one
hey,
Orange.
you know how them people think out in California.
Well,
They get
yeah,
a little cuckoo out on the West Coast sometimes.
yeah,
So,
I'm not trying
well,
to defend them by any stretch, but yeah, that was just something
okay,
watching college football. I was like,
just
those
bugs
are,
you. We need to dig. We need to dig on it. We need to get
yeah,
some answers.
I'll do some research. I'll get some
Yeah.
answers if it's the actual orange or the color orange. But I'm like, either way, I'm not going
Mhm.
to Syracuse, New York to pick produce. It's not where I want my orange juice.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So I got one more. It's my last one. Um, Boy, I hate doing this because I don't like throwing businesses under the bus. But sometimes when you don't do your customers right, when you come on the Never Yield podcast, you're gonna get it. So, uh, Splash Water Park in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Let me tell you about the Splash Water Park.
okay,
The rides itself are unbelievable. The
okay,
water slides are top notch.
okay,
Um, so we went there a couple years ago, had a blast. So we're like, all right, we promised the kids we take them back to Splash Water Park. Um, Pull up into the parking lot. We're like, oh, it's kind of empty today. Perfect. Get to the pay box, and they're like, so just to let you know that half of our rides are closed. We're understaffed because we had kids go back to college, and so this ride's closed, this ride's closed. Pretty much all the cool slides, but one or two are closed. So just the kiddie area, the wave pool, and the lazy river are open. All right.
okay.
Okay. Whatever. That's fine. Okay. I don't even throw a big deal. Okay. So half of your park is closed. Andrew, if you go to play 18 holes of golf and they tell you the back nine's closed, you only play in the front nine, do they
Mhm.
charge you for 18 holes of golf?
They usually do. No. They'll do 9 holes. They'll do 9 holes.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you
can
get a
only
nine
play
hole
nine.
discount, right? Hey,
Yeah,
if you go to Wright's Barbecue and you want a pound of brisket, but they only got a half pound of brisket, how much are they charging you for?
just a half pound and sometimes less.
Half
And by the
pound,
way,
right?
we
Half
are
pound.
open for sponsorship, Wright's Barbecue, if you would like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
sponsor the show. We're big
that's
fans.
right. Yeah, and so, but guess what? At Splash Water Park, you still pay the full price, even though half of the park is closed.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so I was not very happy about that. Um, I get it. You're understaffed. That's fine. Stuff happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, but still trying to charge full price
Yeah.
whenever you have over half of your attractions closed. It did not
Yeah.
sit well. Now, I got on the website. It didn't say nothing on the website about it. If I didn't have, 2 kids with me, I would have been like, "Yeah, we're out. Sorry."
Mhm.
But, you show up, your kids are looking forward to this, so you're not
Right.
gonna turn around and tell your
Yep.
kids to prove a point. So anyways, yeah, so Splash Water Park, man, stuff happens, I get it, but man, if you're gonna close half your park, let's charge half of the admission price.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's my last hot seat.
And what's
'Kay,
the
go ahead.
what's the town that this is in? 'Cause I've never been, or I don't
So,
think
yeah,
it's
so it's a big lake, and it's in between Osage Beach and Camdenton, Missouri. It's beautiful. It's a
okay.
beautiful area. Lot of restaurants, and it's mainly for lake people. We didn't even get on the lake.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was just a little getaway for us, and so
Okay.
we just went, ate, watched football, went to the water park, hung out
Yeah.
with some family we don't get to see very often,
Okay.
and so it was good. We're gonna do a couple shout outs. So hot seat is what I have, that's what we think when we're not too happy about things or we think things are not right. Just a couple shout outs. This is kind of our positive things from the weekend. My first shout out is going to be the Texas Rangers. I'm a Texas Rangers fan, diehard. Finally got our World Series a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Um, we're filming this podcast on Monday night, but as of right now, the Rangers have won 7 games in a row.
Oh,
We are
wow.
now 2.5 out of the wild card race.
Okay.
So there's nothing, just the true real teams fight at the end of the season. They don't lay down.
Yeah.
And so just like, it just comes natural to teams that I support that we're going to fight hard through the last game and try to make a push for the wild card. But winning 7 games in a row in baseball is tough to do. So
Yeah.
my first shout out is the Texas Rangers. Do you have any shout outs, Andrew?
I'm gonna give my first one to just False Fall. We usually get one every year in Arkansas. We got it early this year. But the weather this weekend was fantastic. We got some rain on the yard, which was much needed, and everything's greening back up a little bit. So needed that for sure. I am very ill temperamented. I do not like hot or cold weather, and so I don't like it too hot. I don't like it too cold. I like it anywhere between 50 and 72 degrees is kind of my sweet spot. Anything below or over that. If you find me hungry and with temperatures above or below that range, you will find me in a pretty irritable mood sometimes. So, but weather this weekend was fantastic. So I'll give a shout out to the weather this weekend. Um, and then really just football being back. I'm just
Man.
so excited about it. Like I said, the first Saturday always feels like just a little weird because you're like getting back into it and you're so excited and you're like, is this even really happening in front of me right now? But and to have some great matchups week one that you don't normally get one versus three. And then there was like two other top 10 matchups this week too with LSU and Clemson and Bama.
Hmm.
Or Florida State was not top 10 at all, but
Notre Dame, Miami.
yeah, Notre Dame, Miami. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Good football. Great football.
yeah. So just excited to be back.
That's right.
That's kind of mine.
All right. So we're gonna move on to we're gonna grade this game. So we're gonna do position report cards. I'm gonna try to share this screen right here. I'll go first. Quarterback. I gave quarterbacks an A. Essentially just for the matter that I thought Talon was unbelievable. I thought
Yeah,
Talon, you know, I don't remember what his stats were, but he only had a handful of incompletions. He took a couple sacks. I think one of them was on the running back. Didn't pick up a block. Um, but I thought he just looked composed. Thought he had control of the offense. He spread the ball around. Didn't just pick up one receiver the whole time. Um, I'm not technically going to grade KJ Jackson and the other
yeah,
guys that played. I'm just kind of sticking to Talon. But after I watching Arch and some of those other guys over the weekend, now, don't Arch would have thrown for 6 touchdowns against Alabama A&M also. Like,
yeah,
let's just be real. But
yeah,
I think he's I think he just looked comfortable. He's gotten a lot better.
Mhm.
So I gave Taylor an A.
Yeah. I was a little bit harsher. I went B, strictly for the fact of taking a couple sacks that I think he could have got rid of the ball, and then really even more than that, taking some hits that I just thought, excuse me, were unnecessary. I if it's a close game at Ole Miss and we're driving and you want to reach out and take a hit, that's great. Against Alabama A&M, not so great.
Yeah.
Uh, we
It's just hard for competitors, like, I know
well, I, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure he's been taught and told 100 times,
yeah,
"Get out of bounds, slide,"
no,
but sometimes these guys, when they get in the heat of the moment, man, they
yeah,
wanna lead by example, and even though
yeah,
it's not the smart thing to do.
yeah. No, I applaud the competitiveness and I don't fault him for that. But I mean, could you imagine this week would look a lot different if he had gotten
Mhm.
concussed on one of
Yeah.
those
Yep.
plays? I would not
For
feel
sure.
great going into Arkansas State with a backup quarterback. As much as I love KJ Jackson, I am excited for him as quarterback of the future. But uh, you know, we need to start this season off strong, especially with what we got coming down the road. I cringed when seeing him take a few of those hits. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but
Uh,
definitely improved. He made some throws that, like I said last year, he would not have made. There was a lot of those throws that he would have missed. That touchdown to what's his name, Raylan Sharp.
Really
Uh,
sharp. Mhm.
yeah, the wide open one. Uh, I think he would have found a way to miss that throw last year. There was like an easy wheel route against Oklahoma State last year that I know he left
Mhm.
short that we could have scored on. So and several others throughout the year. Not to mention just not even seeing Isaac Tesla for most of last year. But yeah, Saturday was making great throws, was on target, was on time with most of them. So much improved
Yeah.
passing. The only reason I went a little lower was for taking a couple of those sacks and taking some hits. But
Yeah. I think he threw 16 touchdowns all last year, and he had 6 in the first game,
yeah,
so he's already,
yeah,
a third of the way there. So yeah, I was happy with what I saw, and it'll just get a little tougher for him each week. We'll learn more about him every
yeah,
week moving forward. Running backs, I went with a C plus. The running back position was hard. We talked about in our first episode all the hype around Mike Washington, and his breakaway speed and making people miss. And don't get me wrong, we do not have a subscription to PFF to get all the cool PFF grades and all the breakdowns from every
yeah,
player. But once again, sponsorships. But I did see something on Twitter that he made 0 people miss
hmm
after first contact.
yeah,
And so, I thought he looked good. He averaged 8 yards a carry or something.
yeah,
But he didn't break anything.
right,
I didn't see that burst of explosiveness that I kind of wanted to see.
yeah,
Brandon Russell, I thought he looked like Brandon Russell.
yeah,
Um, just kind of lowering his head. He averaged like 4 yards a carry.
hmm
I don't remember the stats, but he had like 9 carries for 45 yards or something. But a running back didn't score a touchdown,
right,
um, which is, kind of surprising,
yeah,
playing an FCS opponent where you expect
hmm
to just dominate.
right,
Um, and I do know that Sam said that they did struggle on their pass blocking. Um,
hmm
so uh, so I gave 'em a C plus. I think they're better than that. And I think they'll have moments. I expect Mike Washington to score a touchdown this next Saturday.
yeah,
That's something I'll probably have a wager on is for him anytime touchdown.
yeah,
But I gave him a C plus, and you were just a little bit behind me with a C.
yeah. Against an FCS opponent to have, I mean, if I'd have told you we had 0 rushing touchdowns in this game going into this game, I think you'd have called me crazy. So yeah, just and not in the stadium it was noticeable just not making the people miss. Braylon had a few where he made the first guy miss, but yeah, Mike Washington didn't. You saw a little bit of the burst on the pass from KJ Jackson,
Uh-huh.
the touchdown there, but yeah, other than that, I know a big part of running game is offensive line, but there was a couple runs, especially Mike Washington, that missed a couple reads where if he'd have broke it to the left I think there's one in the first quarter that he could have really broke one if he'd have read it a little better. But obviously there's a lot of first game jitters and stuff probably too. This is definitely a game you
Yeah.
want to get those worked out and corrected. You know, the big thing that they say is like your biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2. So hopefully
Yep.
we'll see some of that. But yeah, I was just a pinch harsher on the running backs. But yeah, I think I'm not worried about it. I didn't see anything that I'm like overly worried about, but just I wanted to see a little bit better
Just wanted to
against
be wowed. I wanted to be
right.
wowed a little bit by the
Exactly.
running back room, and
Yeah.
it was just kinda meh.
That's all we heard about all
Uh,
offseason. So yeah, we wanted to
yeah,
see it.
yeah. Wide receiver, I'll let you go first. We both have for an A minus.
Yeah. I was really happy with the receiving core overall. I was really happy for CJ Brown, especially with everything he's been through, you know, this offseason, you know, given the credit to his dad there on his 2 scores. He had the one drop in the end zone. There was a few other drops in the game. Is the reason I went A minus, but overall, was really happy. Glad that we spread it around a little bit. Really, this I was really wanting to see Courtney Crutchfield, and
Mhm.
he had no catches. So
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
think he
everybody
only
else should
got they
better.
said he only got, like, 9 snaps or
Yeah,
10 snaps,
yeah, he
so
wasn't in the game
he's
very often.
I think he's down the depth chart.
Yeah, yeah,
My deal was, like, Omega Blake led the nation last year in yards per reception,
yeah,
and nobody really talked about him all preseason, and so I was
yeah,
kinda concerned that maybe he wasn't adjusting to the SEC level of play, but I think he's just one of those dudes who's just gets open.
yeah,
Like, I don't know how, I don't know why, it's hard to tell on television,
yeah,
but every time he caught the ball, there was no contest around him, like, he was just
yeah,
wide open.
hmm yeah,
And so, I mean, I think I did like how Taylor spread it around, but I think he likes Omega, rightfully so.
yeah, yeah,
Including the tight ends and wide receivers.
hmm
Posky had a touchdown,
yep,
and so I thought I think our tight end room would be average.
yeah,
But no, I thought my only concern with our receivers is man, they're smaller than I thought they were.
yeah,
Omega fits the build, I guess. He's like probably what 6'1", 6'2", but
yeah,
the rest of those guys, CJ Brown's small. Jalen Brown was really small. Brandon Sharp, obviously small. Cam
yeah,
Shanks is small. So you better be dang quick, and you better be able to get open on your routes if you're going to be small, because we're not going to
yeah.
be doing a bunch of mossing people this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're fast because yeah, that was noticeable on the field that we were not huge at receiver, especially going from last year. Andrew Armstrong, Isaac Tesla, both big body guys.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we did look a little small. Monty Harrison looked pretty
Yeah,
big out there, and I was glad to see him get a big catch. I think he had one for like 29 yards. So was glad to see him. He was on the field quite a bit. So I'd like to see him get some more snaps too. I like the old man on the team.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought the receivers looked good. So moving down to the offensive line, I had him in a C plus. I did have it at a C minus. Then I doing some reading and listening to a few things. Apparently, they were credited with 0 sacks. Taylor got
okay,
sacked twice, but they said that the O line was credited for 0 of those two. One of them was clearly on Mike Washington, and one of them they just called a coverage sack, which Taylor's got to do something in a coverage sack. But
yeah,
but uh, but man, just the reason I gave him a C plus was the run game. Just part of it's on the running backs, obviously, but I didn't feel like there was just gaping holes for
right,
them to run through either.
yeah,
And so that's I don't think I'm out of touch to think that we should be able to just line up against an FCS team, no matter what look they're giving us, no matter what front they're giving us, no
right,
matter where they're bringing the blitzes from, for us
yeah,
to be able to line up and just blow them off the line of scrimmage and open up massive holes for these backs.
yeah,
And I didn't feel like we did that.
yeah,
Um, and so I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not gonna lie. Even going into next week with Arkansas State, I'm a little concerned with the offensive line. The fact that we didn't just dominate the line of scrimmage
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. I was kind of the same. I just in the game, it just felt like we weren't getting the push that I felt like we should. I wasn't seeing the holes. I'm in the south end zone, so a lot of
Great
times
view at it.
you can see the holes open up, and it just in the stadium in the game, it didn't feel like we were getting a push. We weren't opening big holes, and but then you look at the stats, and the stats, don't show how it felt. So I gave him a C. I just feel like the stats ended up being decent. Obviously,
Mhm.
you want to see some rushing touchdowns. You want to see more than 205 rushing yards, which Talon took 41 of those, I think. So, 160 yards from your running backs. You want to see more than that against the FCS team. And some of that was probably taking what was coming to him. So we passed a lot. Um, and so
And they did a lot of shuffling on the line.
yeah,
Even as early as the second quarter, I think they're running Shaq McCroy at right tackle and pushing Marion Harris to left guard, and I think they were just kind of trying to see some things at the same time.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, it still shouldn't matter against those guys. We should
yeah,
be able to blow them off the line.
yeah,
So offensively, we both went with a B. I mean, we scored 52 points, got the subs in,
yeah,
into the third quarter, whatever. Could have scored 70 if we wanted to.
yeah,
I mean, overall, I thought the performance was fine. I mean, I just think Taylor just backpacked them and carried them and made everybody look a little better than maybe what they played.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I thought the performance was solid.
yeah.
All right, moving to the defense. So a little bit harsher here. Looks like I was a harsher one of the two here. I know we only gave up 7, so the name of the game is to limit the other team from scoring. So
Yeah.
we did. Only allowed 7 points, and it was on the first drive. Um, but man, the defensive line, I just felt like all game really. I mean, I just don't feel like they were putting much pressure on the quarterback. I know Quincy Rhodes finally got a sack against a backup quarterback, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but I just felt like they weren't once again dominating the line of scrimmage.
Right.
We should be able to, with 4 guys, line up and just dominate the line of scrimmage against an FCS team. Uh, and they were just that first possession, that quarterback was just chilling. You know, the DBs were playing too far off, or
Hmm.
also nobody was doing their job.
Right.
But I feel like the defensive line, I just wanted to see domination,
Yeah.
and I didn't see domination, so that's why I graded them average.
Yeah. I probably should have gone a little lower because it felt the same. It just felt like we weren't getting a push in the backfield. We were pretty good against the run. It's more stats is why I put us up to a
Yeah,
B, just because we only allowed, forget how much it was, like 69 rushing yards. So
yeah,
rush against the rush, we did a good job. We were not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. We weren't breaking down their offensive line in the pass game. So uh, yeah, I probably could have gone lower, but it was just the overall stats. I gave us the B,
yeah.
but
I will say that I thought Philip Lee came in and gave us some great reps. He's
yeah,
transferred from Troy.
yeah,
I think he had 5 tackles and he had 2 or 3 quarterback hurries. So that was nice to see that someone's stepping up at that defensive end spot.
yeah,
And then they've been really relying on David Oki, and he's hurt right now, and
hmm,
so I think he's a day one starter when he's healthy, and so just
yeah,
trying to piece it together for a couple more weeks till Oki gets back. Moving to linebacker, um, man, it's just hard to tell. I mean, I didn't feel like they were flying around. I didn't feel like they were coming up in the meeting running backs in the gaps, getting downhill.
right,
I know Sori's he's a good player, but
hmm,
I think he only had 1 tackle, and so I know he's a little banged up. Um, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like they're just all kind of bulked together. Linebackers, you got to play the run game, you got to play the pass game,
yeah,
and I just don't feel like they were flying around knocking heads, just like I expected.
yeah, yeah. Same. Kind of like zero rushing touchdowns. If you'd have told me Xavier Sawyer only had 1 tackle against the FCS
Mhm.
team, I'd have been shocked. And that's what we got. There was that first drive and even the second drive, a couple other times, looked like linebackers were just out of place. Uh, Missed assignments, missed reads of where they were supposed to be. So yeah, I was pretty harsh on the
Sam,
linebackers. I didn't see a lot of flying of the ball.
yeah, Sam said today they had 8 missed assignments on the first drive. and so as a unit. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's why people are running around wide open. And anyway, so hopefully they can get that figured out this week. Defensive back, man, I don't know. I may be too harsh, but just felt like those guys were running around wide open the first half of the game. And here's the deal: they scored on the first drive. The second drive, they drove the ball all the way down the field too,
Right. Yeah.
and then they hit the tight end for like 30 yards to get
Yeah.
down to well inside field goal range, and there was offsetting penalties that moved it back. And so really two drives in a row that they had people just running wide open. And
Yeah. If you don't have that,
and I
if
mean,
you don't have that unnecessary block in the back to offset that
mhm,
penalty,
yeah,
that could have been the
yeah. I
first
mean,
half could have looked a little different.
yeah, for sure. And so, once again, I don't think I'm asking too much for SEC defensive backs to be able to blanket, you know, FCS receivers or tight ends or running backs out
Yeah.
of the backfield. Um, and there was some good things. Caleb Wooden showed some good things, which is nice. He was a kid from Auburn that I talked about in the first episode that
Yeah.
lost a starting job. He gave some good reps. And so we'll see. Nope, they didn't even throw at Kanai Walker, the Oklahoma transfer.
Yeah.
They had 0 attempts at him, and
Mhm.
so I think that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I just kind of once again, I feel like they have people running around open, and if they're running around open on us, then what's even Arkansas State going to do this week?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was just above you with a B minus. Again, it was more stats than what it looked like or felt like on the field. But yeah, definitely want to see some improvement there. And again, you never know what kind of schemes and stunts we're running against an FCS program. It may be, we may be already prepping for Arkansas State and Ole Miss in practice. At least I kind of hope so. The
Yeah, yeah.
reason we got caught off guard there at the beginning, but yeah,
I don't know. It's just a little bit discouraging. Like you see LSU and Clemson, and neither team can score for a quarter and a half. Or you watch
yeah,
Ohio State and Texas, and the defense is just dominating.
right,
And then you watch turn us on, and Alabama A&M just drives down the field on us. You
right,
know, you're like, what's going on here?
yeah.
And so,
Well,
anyways, the net.
apparently it's been a theme. I guess two of the scrimmages
I saw
before that,
that. Yeah,
the
yeah.
like the second team would score on the first drive and then they'd shut them out the rest of the way. So
Hmm.
hopefully it's not
They
a
better
trend
figure
in this
that out.
going forward.
Yeah, they better figure that out because that seems like it is a trend. Overall, though, the name of the game is to keep the defense from scoring points or keep the offense from scoring points. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And we held them to 7 points. And so I gave them a B minus overall, even though I thought it was sloppy. The end result was 7 points. So
yeah,
it would be minus.
yeah,
Special teams, I'm with an A minus. You know, freshman kicker, Starzik, I thought he looked great from that 52, 53-yard bomb as a
yeah.
true freshman. I mean, it was good from 60.
Good.
Uh, the reason I went down to an A minus was simply because, I predicted Cam Shakes to return a punt. He led the nation in punt return yards last year at UAB, and first one right off the bat, I know he's trying to show out, his first game, but he should have fair caught that first one. He got popped the second it
He
hit
got
him.
smoked.
And then after that, even he didn't look too comfortable. He kind of ran into one of his own teammates one time, I
Right.
think, and he just never got anything going. So I gave it A minus because I thought on the other end, our special teams defensively were good. They didn't get any kick return. Kick
Yeah.
returns were good. I thought Devin Bell had a good punt inside the 10 that one time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave it A minus to special teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just above you with the A. The only reason probably wasn't A plus was just because Cam Shanks didn't fair catch that one and you do that against Ole Miss or Notre Dame, that might be six the other way and a concussion for
Hmm.
you. So
Yeah.
yeah. First game
So
jitters.
that's our
We'll give some forgiveness there.
Yeah, first game, man. There's you can practice all you want, but you don't really figure out who you are until you roll the ball out with some lights on and some officials and 70,000 people in the stands. So
Mm.
just real quick, player of the game. Probably got the same one. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go CJ. Um, 2 touchdowns, could have easily had a third. Um, just like to see him and like that he honored his dad with his. So
Yeah,
that was my player game. Could have obviously gone Taylor Green too, but
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I thought CJ, I said the other day he's kind of my breakout player for the year. We need somebody to step up besides Omega Blake, and I think CJ Brown's gonna be that guy that kinda step up to
yeah,
be receiver number 2 to Omega.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll go with Talon. I mean, I think he was the 4th highest quarterback PFF grade in the whole nation.
nice,
Um, and so, I thought he did what he was supposed to do, made the throws, commanded the offense. So I think Texas would have liked to have Taylor Green as their quarterback this past Saturday or
yeah,
Alabama. And so anyways, let's touch on A State just for a minute. We will on Friday's podcast, we'll get into the weeds of Arkansas State. So I went to college at Arkansas State. My wife went to college at Arkansas State. We got family in Jonesboro, so this one kind of hits home for me. I had some of my best friends played football. My roommate played football for Arkansas State, uh, and so we'll get into Friday kind of in the weeds on it. But man, this one worries me.
yeah,
They're not bad. They got Butch Jones. Is the head coach used to be the head coach at Tennessee. Then he went to the Nick Saban coaching rehab clinic at
yeah,
Alabama, and then he got the job at Arkansas State. But he can coach football. Won at Cincinnati before he went to Tennessee. I'm telling you right now, the quarterback Jalen Rayner, he's returner. He's dangerous. He can run. He can pass. He's gonna be someone who really worries me.
yeah,
This game in general just worries me. I didn't
mm,
think it would, but now that it's here, I am very concerned about uh, Saturday. I know we came out as 23-point favorites. I think that's too much. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody knows this is Arkansas State's Super Bowl,
yeah,
and I don't know about the kids at Arkansas State, but I can tell you right now, the fans at Arkansas State
mhm.
would rather win this game than win the Sun Belt Conference.
Oh, yeah,
They would be happy to finish 6th in the league if they could beat us this Saturday.
oh, yeah,
Um, and it is what it is. It's nothing personal against Arkansas State. It's not a 2-school state. I mean, there's one alpha school in this state,
right,
and that's not their fault. I mean, it's a Sun Belt, SEC and a Sun Belt team. Um, we don't fight for recruits and players.
yeah,
We did it before NIL, but we especially don't now. Um, and so we're gonna have one guest for sure on Friday. We'll call her Arkansas State Insider,
mhm,
and possibly two to get a look from their side and kind of what
yeah,
they're seeing and what their fan base is saying. Uh, but yeah, I'm nervous about this game. Frank Broyles right now is rolling over in his grave this whole week.
yeah,
He is not happy this is happening, and I hope for for everybody's sake that we can come out and take care of business Saturday in Little Rock and just shut this up and get this done and never play this game again.
yeah,
Because I don't think this game needs to be played. But anyways,
yeah,
what's your thoughts on the game?
yeah. For me, I'm kind of like, let's just, it's kind of the same. Like, let's get it over with. Like, people have asked for this game forever, and now that it's here, I feel like it hasn't generated the kind of the statewide buzz that I feel like I kind of think that they hoped that it would. Like I said, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, from what I was hearing, it wasn't a sellout. So I am glad to hear that it did finally sell out. So um, yeah, I mean, I just don't see the benefit of Arkansas doing it. I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, we should go out there and dominate anytime that we go play a lesser opponent. But obviously, in our history and recent history, we've seen that things can go wrong, and definitely don't need it to go wrong this Saturday if you're wanting to have kind of a special season. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, let's just go out there. Let's suit up. Let's just kind of get
Yeah,
it
let's
over
do it.
with, and
These
and
guys, these
hopefully,
guys, these guys are solid. They're not
yeah,
the favorite to win the Sun Belt or anything, but I'm telling you, their quarterback is a really good quarterback.
yeah,
He's gonna get a chance to play in the NFL one day. I don't know if he'll make a roster, but he'll get a shot.
Yeah,
They went to they played SEMO this past weekend, Southeast Missouri State, and you
they
hear
put it on.
SEMO, and but they put it on them. And SEMO's an FCS school just like Alabama A&M,
Yeah,
and I think they went to the playoffs last year in the FCS, and I think SEMO's better than Alabama A&M,
yeah,
and A State had no problem putting up a 50 spot on SEMO, and so we're gonna have to show up and play well. We can't just roll the ball out, and you better lock in and focus, or the Craighead County elites are going to be running rampant in Little Rock Saturday night about 10 o'clock if we don't show up.
if you're not ready to go, this could go sideways pretty quick, but hopefully we'll be locked in and ready to go. Hopefully we're not looking ahead to Ole Miss for any reason. I think history shows that you don't have that luxury, so
Yeah.
let's suit it
Well,
up.
like I said, we're gonna have two guys on, one guy for sure, hopefully two Fridays. So make sure you tune in to Friday's podcast. We'll get a little bit of behind enemy lines insight from a couple guys in that area. One of them is a season ticket holder and a good ball knower, and the other one is a media personality over there that I know really well. He's actually a family member.
Oh
But
man,
he's a diehard Razorback fan, and he doesn't think this game should be played. And so, anyways, I'm gonna try to get both of them on. So Friday's pod will be really good. Man, we appreciate all the love after the first
yeah,
show. Man, we got.
yeah,
I mean, I can't believe we are over 100 followers on Facebook in 24 hours, and
yeah,
YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast. We know it's not perfect right now; we're still learning. But man, the comments, the personal text, everything was we just very appreciative for all the love.
absolutely,
Something I'd like to do is man, if y'all want to leave a comment or a question, man, we would love to pull up some questions and answer some questions on the pod. So
yeah,
don't you can text us personally, obviously, but we leave a comment on one of the social pages, and we'll pull it up and we'll talk about some of your comments or questions here on the pod. But man, yeah, all the thanks, all the love for getting this thing off to a good start for us.
yeah, yeah. Appreciate everybody. Had a couple people reach out. Had a couple buddies rib me a little bit, being like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
But
same.
but
Yeah,
overall positive. My dad enjoyed it, so
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
But no,
My dad texted me. He said, "Pod was good. Started a little slow, but got better as it went."
yeah,
Thanks,
that was
pops. Thanks,
yeah.
pops.
First one,
Yeah,
first one in the books. So yeah, we'll try to get better and be more entertaining as we go. But yeah, absolutely appreciate anybody and everybody that gives us a like, a comment, a follow. Share it with your friends. Again, we're just doing this for fun, hoping that it's an easy listen, getting you excited about the upcoming Saturday. And obviously we got a big in-state one this week, and hopefully we're ready to roll.
that's right. Make sure you tune in Friday for the A State the preview of what that game's going to look like. And y'all have a good week. Andrew, take us home, brother.
All right, stay classy and never yield, y'all.